Welcome to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Today, we'll show you how to use the spirit of love and self-worth to improve the connections with everyone else in your life. This program is your weekly gift, and it will keep on giving. You'll see. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jean Marie Farish.
Well, hello and welcome, everyone. I hope you're all faring well. I'm Dr. Jean Marie, your Love Light host, and we are delighted for you to join us on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, shining love light into your hearts and homes to empower your life with love. Our very special and delightful show today is Conversations with Animals, Extraordinary Wisdom about Life, Love, and Healing. And I love this quote by Anatole France. Until one has loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened. I just love that quote. And our amazing guests, Beth Munn and Barrett Stover, your soul guides, have extraordinary gifts and talents to communicate with all that is, whether it's pets, animals in the wild, insects, birds, objects, trees, past loved ones, and angels from the spiritual realm. They reveal our interconnectedness and how we are always being guided, cared for, and loved. Beth and Barrett are co-authors of Living Beyond Fear, Sacred Letters from the Afterlife. And we'll hear more about their upcoming book, Conversations with Animals, Extraordinary Wisdom about Life, Love, and Healing. So is the title of our show. They're known as your soul guides, and they combined intuitive gifts and opened a portal of wisdom around healing mind, body, and spirit. Beth is an intuitive healer, animal communicator, master channeler. Barrett is a spiritual messenger, connecting with loved ones and angels from the spiritual realm. And they merge their intuitive gifts to connect us with the powerful wisdom of love. Beth says, so much universal intelligence and love brings us into balance. And we're so interrelated and interconnected. And Beth says you deserve to have joy, peace, and live a happy life and get into the flow of life. We are always open, always being cared for, and be open to the highest love and healing to come through. I just love that. Beth and Barrett have been on previous Love Light shows, Awaken, Empower, Heal, and The Hidden Truth of Animals. And they're both taking live calls from listeners. So if you have pressing questions about your pets or animals you've encountered, call now. USA callers dial 1-888-346-9141. International callers dial 001-480-553-5754. So now I am just honored to welcome our amazing guests, Beth Munn and Barrett Stover, on our show today, Conversations with Animals, Extraordinary Wisdom about Life, Love, and Healing. Welcome, Beth and Barrett.
Thank you so much, Jean. We're delighted to be back with you and all your listeners. And we're so excited to share with you today more messages from the animals. You know, we're all in this world searching. We're all trying to find our way in the world and to find balance in our mind, body, and soul. And we are excited for the next hour to really share with you some messages about life, love, and healing that have come through from our animals in conversations with animals. As you so beautifully spoke at the top of the program, Beth is a master animal communicator, and she has connected with over 33 animals, both domestic and wild, and they are bringing through absolutely amazing, extraordinary messages that are connecting us to ourselves. They're actually giving us a pathway on how to connect with our natural world and connect with ourselves and find ourselves and get through life with love for ourselves, self-love and self-awareness and joy and possibilities. So we want to sort of share with you some of those messages today. The thing that's so extraordinary about this is that we have two worlds. We have the visible world and we have the invisible world, the seen and the unseen. And Beth and I communicate with spirits as much as animals. And both of them are really giving us a glimpse into that unseen world. And so many times our animals are connecting us with loved ones, with angels, with that unseen world to help us to get fully on our path, to help us to have more self-love for ourselves and to guide us forward on our own extraordinary soul journey.
Yes, thank you so much, Barrett, for sharing that. Beth, do you have anything you would like to share with our listeners as we get started with this intriguing episode?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me back. And I love talking about gifts and being able to communicate with animals is one of my gifts. It's a gift that I know I had when I was a child, because when I was 9 years old, I wrote stories of all different things that were going on in my life as clues for me to get onto both my struggles and my gifts. And one of my stories was about my dog. And during that story, I was saying how my dog was speaking to me in English. But when my dog would walk away and someone else was there, she would bark. So what I was saying was, I can hear deeper. I can know more. I am communicating with my dog in a way that most people are not familiar with or have not done before. So when I came upon that story, and I'd always been very close with animals, and I have other stories which we'll talk about during the course of this hour, my gifts began to unfold. And what I want to share that's the most important thing for me in communicating during this book is the conversations that I had were, I allowed it to unfold all on its own. So I didn't have a list of animals that I wanted to communicate with or have a conversation with. Whatever showed up was what was next for me. And I didn't even realize at first I was going to write the book, but I walked out onto my front porch and there was this huge cobweb that was like I've never seen such a big cobweb before. I have double doors on my front door, and I walked right into it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I went out just to sit and have a cup of coffee. And then I didn't think too much of it. I said, okay. And then the next morning it happened again. And I walked right into it. And then I realized there's something to this. And then I saw a spider there, and he began communicating with me. And he was the first one that I started with, and his name is Clydesdale. And it's, I can't, the information they gave to me, the incredible messages and the humor and their names, there's so much meaning that came through. And the most important thing that I realized when this book was done, and we had somebody that read the book, just to someone that we work with that we know, and she said it changed her life because it changed her view of our animal world.
It's just beautiful.
Them, just in a completely different light, that they have a soul, they have a higher self, just like we do. And that's where the communication happens and the conversation happens. And you cannot not read this book and change your view on animals. So we're so excited to talk about this and share some of the other stories.
How wonderful for you to share that beautiful encounter with the spider. It shows us to not take things for granted, what we see, and I must share with our listeners that I've been a member of your Soul Talk and Animal Talk group, and the words expressed, the information shared, even with the other group members, have really opened me up and brought me to a place of peace, love, and profound wisdom. So I thank you both for that. Barrett, what about your humble beginnings in terms of your valuable spiritual talents and gifts here?
Well, Beth and I worked together. It really took off when Beth and I, met and we discovered that we could connect around the same spirit. And I do feel the animals Beth is communicating. I can feel sometimes somebody waiting in the wings. There was an octopus that came through that was actually from that beautiful documentary. Many of the listeners have heard of it. It's The Octopus Teacher. And Beth had an amazing conversation about love. It's really a love story, that documentary. So it's really opened me up. I've been connecting with spirits and angels, and then working with Beth to understand and to get insight into some what the animals are sharing has really expanded me, because there's so many ways that we're all receiving, whether it's nature or animals or loved ones from the other side. There's so many that are coming through with such loving messages that are helping to guide us, that are helping to support us. We're never alone. We are always loved. And I think it just opens us up. And I think the animals particularly you can't but be connected at the heart. So many, all of you out there, so many of you either have beloved animals in your home, or you love certain animals out in nature, or hearing the birds singing, or whatever animals are in your area, but they go right to our heart. And when we are speaking heart to heart, you don't need any more words. You're really getting it through that feeling, through that heart connection. So I think it's just another way for us to tap in to messages that are around us, that are sharing, that are affirming us, that are loving us, that are holding us, that are guiding us.
That's beautiful, because so many people feel like they're alone. And it's like, gosh, we're always if we be open, we can connect and, really get in tune. So for those out there who feel like they're alone, you're never alone. And thank you, Barrett, for sharing that. And I just want to share with our listeners that Barrett channeled my beloved Cocker Spaniel, Spencer, who was with me for almost 2 decades. And she shared messages from him. And she said that he was going to accompany me on my journey to India last July. And I shared that in my recently published book, India Journey Inward, a picture of a dog that came and sat beside me while I was sitting outside in my tent in Nubra Valley in the Himalayas. And I always felt his presence. So thank you so much. That's a true testimony for me. I really appreciate that. How did you both come together?
Go ahead. Jean, I just... I want to share one thing that Barrett touched on about, connecting through the heart with our animals. We all have gifts. So some people listening might say, well, I can't hear an animal, or I can't communicate on that level. And you can communicate on the level that you're going to be open to, and to be wide open and to set intentions. If this is something that you would love to see be brought into your life and open up to, you can start with the heart and then go to a place. And I'm working with a woman who is a dog walker. And so she's with dogs and cat sitter, and she's with them all day, but she has bigger gifts and she knows it. And I'm working with her on ways and tools to open up those gifts. So we all have them. We all love our pets, but we can also go deeper. And there is a way to do that. And I'll let Barrett talk about how we met, because she's got that story down.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for sharing that.
Before that, I just want to share that that we do have is coming out in August, but a animal communication online class that Beth is teaching. And it's just beautiful because it's self-guided, and it will be available this August on our website, which is www.yoursoulguides.com. But it takes you through the ability to connect. Each of us, as Beth is sharing so perfectly, each of us can connect. We just connect with our own gifts. We each have different gifts. We each have many gifts. And it's tapping into what are your gifts and how do you receive? Are you, visual visual or auditory or different things. So it's really identifying how you are receiving. And the last thing I just want to share that Beth touched on about the spider, our animals are guiding us in our day. With that spider that got her attention, you can't but get the attention of this massive spider web on your door. And the message from Clydesdale, the spider, was to pay attention. To pay attention in a loving way, because they're showing us in our physical natural world, they're giving us almost like breadcrumbs to sort of lead us back to ourselves and lead us back to our heart. And it's just a beautiful, it really opens up wonder when you go around and you feel something or you see something, a certain animal, to sort of delve deeper. Why am I seeing this animal? What message is this animal giving me? What's coming into my mind when I'm seeing that? What thoughts are coming in? So we're always being guided. It's really a wonder. You kind of go with a joy and curiosity and a wonder about it. And it opens you up to your own intuitive gifts and information.
Thanks for sharing that, because when you talk about curiosity and wonder, that childlike joy, it's like when we were open as children, we were kind of naturally open. And then we get kind of closed off or immersed in the mundane aspects of daily life. So this shows us to just be open, keep our hearts open, and don't take anything for granted.
Exactly. And I'm every day when I walk outside, and wherever I go, I am open to the animals. And what I see is the most miraculous thing. I saw a groundhog in the middle of an off ramp standing on a sewer. And I just felt guided to turn my head. I see birds doing incredible things, giving me incredible messages. The deer, the wild animals are as much intriguing as our domestic animals. It's just they present themselves in a very different way. They have an overall message. They have messages for us, but then they have an overall messages very often in roles that they play that are different roles, which I would love to talk about later on, the roles that our animals have who live in our...
Well, we can't wait to get into that. And I know in our next segment, you are both going to really share stories and your experiences to really help us open up to the wonder of, the tiniest of creatures and the animals, and whether they're our pets or those in the wild, the messages that are there for us. We are never, never alone. But I think we're kind of up for a brief commercial break. So for our listeners, stay tuned for more on Conversations with Animals, extraordinary wisdom about life, love, and healing with Beth Munn and Barrett Stover, your soul guides, who combine their intuitive gifts and open a portal of wisdom from spirit around healing mind, body, and spirit. Beth is an intuitive healer, animal communicator, master channeler. Barrett, spiritual messenger, connecting with loved ones and angels from the spiritual realm. We are so excited for them to be here today. And again, they're taking live calls from listeners. So if you have any pressing questions, call now. USA callers, dial 1-888-346-9141. International callers, dial 001-480-553-5754. Call now. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Announcing Dr. Jean Marie Farish's new book, Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations. This is the companion piece to Dr. Farish's best-selling book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being. Through the new book, we invite you to cultivate a lifestyle of love through daily devotional practices over a 21-day period, following 9 ingredients in the recipe of love. Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations, is available on Amazon.com and Balboa Press.
Jean Marie Farish's Center for Conscious Loving, LLC, cultivates a lifestyle of love and wholehearted connections through personal growth, altruistic services, and speaking engagements. Resources include classes, workshops, life care coaching, and creative service projects with an emphasis on cultural arts. Visit the website at drjeanmariefarish.com. DrJeanMarieFarish-ConsciousLoving.com. That's DrJeanMarieFarish-ConsciousLoving.com. Or click the link on the Love Light show page.
Best-selling Authors International news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published Magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to PublishedMagazine.com. Vicki Winterton and Dr. Jean Marie Farish have compiled a dynamic book, We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another, an anthology with 24 highly diverse co-authors who share how to spread the message of love, resilience, inclusivity, and compassion. This book is an invaluable source of uplifting, inspiring, and positive insights for spreading positivity in the world. We're all in this together. Embrace One Another is available on Amazon.com. Be sure to get your copy today. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is proud to announce the release of her new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being, available now at Balboa Press. This book will help you master your life and flourish in love. You'll learn how to become a better and more evolved you. Feel good by making life-affirming choices. Deepen your feelings and expressions of love. Tune in love and sustain the change. And flourish in love and find your joy. Visit BalboaPress.com and search for Living in the Spirit of Love and enjoy Dr. Farish's new book today.
I'm Judy Satori. I'm a spiritual channel and activator of human potential. You might have heard me speaking on the Voice of America on Dr. Jean Farish's show, Love Light, because I've been speaking about the challenges that are besetting all of us right now and how we can surrender but also keep on going. I want to invite you to join my new Facebook group that is devoted to heart-centered connection and unity. Through this Facebook group, you can also join my free access question and answer session with Spirit on the first Wednesday to Thursday of every month. Just search Ascension Community on Facebook to join the group. In this session, I answer questions and transmit energy from Spirit to give you guidance and support. Because life on planet Earth ain't easy right now, and there is so much help from above, from beings of love and light, from multidimensional realities who are actually here with us, wanting to step up and support us. I welcome you to become part of our ongoing group conversation about evolutionary change and how it's affecting us as human beings and affecting our life today. Many blessings to you. You can find out more about me and my work at www.ascensionlibrary.org. Have a wonderful day.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Well, welcome back to Love Light, Living in the Spirit of Love. And if you're just joining us, we are with our extraordinary guests today, Beth Munn and Barrett Stover, your soul guides, who combine their intuitive gifts. They open a portal of wisdom. On our show today, Conversations with Animals, extraordinary wisdom around life, love, and healing. And again, they're taking live calls from listeners. If you have pressing questions, you can call now. USA callers, dial 1-888-346-9141. International callers, 001-480-553-5754. So, Beth and Barrett, thank you so much for really sharing your experiences and your blessed gifts and talents. And I think before we went on commercial break, Beth was going to talk about the role of animals.
Yes, our animals are incredible, and so are we. We don't want to forget us as humans. So I channeled some information a couple years ago about the roles that we as humans play as light workers. And the three roles, the main roles that we play are to be a life guide, a conduit, and a space holder. And so what usually happens is we can dance between the three roles, but we usually have one dominant role. And for instance, a life guide is usually someone who's like works one-on-one and gets very close up and personal with people. A conduit is someone who's more of a connector, a bridge. So they might connect people with information, people to people. That's what you're doing with your show, Jean.
Thank you.
Connecting. So you are, as far as, what I see of you is a conduit. And then we have people who are space holders, who we call them our rocks. And they're like, they're there for us, and they keep us grounded, those of us who are more the other two. So our animals are also any of these three things. And also, like us, they are healers and teachers. They're mirrors for us. They, depending on what role we play, we can interchange the role. We're also doing this for them as well, is what I mean. So, and of course they can bring us messages, just like anyone can bring messages. So they're messengers. So, sometimes when we see, or I hear people talk about, my dog is very much my rock. That I even can go home and I can talk to my dog and tell my dog or my cat all my problems, and it seems like she just listens, and that people can recognize that as that's something that they're familiar with. Dogs can admit a lot of things to us. They can be irritating to us. They can be barking in our face. My dog likes to bark an hour before mealtime. So she will just sit there and bark in my face, but she also barks when she wants to communicate something with me. So what I'm going to suggest to all the listeners is to, no matter what role you believe your dog is playing, to see if you can take a step back. We're often when we're so close to something, we can't always see it. We might get irritated and, why are you knocking this off the table, or what, you're barking at me, or barking at people walking by, whatever it is. When we take a step back, it's much easier to allow their behaviors to be, because what I learned in communicating with all the animals in the book is that there's reasons behind all of it. They're just communicating to us in the way they can get through. So if they can get through with peeing outside the litter box, that's what they're going to do. And lots of other reasons why they might do that. So I just want to quickly tell a story of an incredible story of what can transpire as far as roles and messengers. I have a client I'm working with who has a vulture who broke its wing, and the vulture hangs out by her house. And she began to feed him. We call him Vince. And she began to feed him, and he would go away for a little bit and then come back. And she said, "What is his message for me? Why is he here for me?" And I said, "He's here because you have unfinished business with people who have passed from your life." And vultures, what do? When an animal passes, they go in and they clean it up. They clean up the mess if it's on the side of the road and so on. So they're beautiful creatures and what their roles are and what they do. And so, so we started going down that path of where's the mess? Where do we have to clean up with where's the unfinished business? And then she is a healer. So my client is a healer. So she did a healing that was guided to her. We didn't even talk about it, about saying some certain things to him and flapping her arm about his wing. And he left for about a week. And she was so excited that she healed him. And then he came back. And she was disappointed. Oh, he came back. It didn't work. And I said, oh, it absolutely worked, because one, that he has more messages for you. That's why he's back. And he needs you to take a step back and take a higher perspective on everything. She gets in very close. And one of those things that is a very important lesson for all of us is that we are not in charge. There's so many who are there for us, who are bringing us messages, who are, there's a higher plan, if you want to call it that. And it doesn't matter what you believe in, whether it's God or a higher power or source or something, but there's always a higher plan that is there to help us. And so Vince's message was, you did help me, and now I'm back with a different message. And to let go of outcome. To let go of outcome, because when we hold on to outcome and we want something to happen in a certain way, that's when we can get deflated or disappointed, or I can't do this. But what I learned early on as an animal communicator is that my role is not to save every animal to live. And that's a hard concept. And, maybe we could talk about grieving of animals a little bit, but it's the healing can be something that is in this moment to release some trauma, and our pet still is meant to pass. So to let go of outcome, no matter what is going on with our animal, and that we're not to interfere with their soul journey, their life journey, what they have chosen, what it is that's going on, but we can open up the awareness around it, and that's where the healing happens, and then let go of what that healing looks like.
Beautiful message. That, seeing things from a higher perspective. And I think you've talked about being in the natural flow. And I love what you're saying about not having any particular expectations or outcome, which helps us stay in that flow. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Barrett, is there anything you'd like to share about what animals are showing and teaching us?
So beautiful with what Beth is sharing, because it really encourages us to be in the flow that you're speaking about, Jean, to look at change and look at it, taking a step back and being gentle with ourselves, but to know that things are always changing. And I think there's a beautiful passages in the book from a dolphin that's really talking about being in the flow and allowing change and not really blocking something, even though some things are really hard. Life is not easy. Life can be messy, but it is honoring ourselves and allowing that to flow and to grow, because that is where we expand our consciousness. That is where we are getting gifts in the moment. That is where we're actually allowing others, whether we see them or don't see them, to step in to support us through whatever those soul journey is, whatever those soul lessons are, but to allow that to be flowing.
Yes, I love that. Because so frequently we hold on to things, or we want a particular outcome of a situation. And, this is a beautiful analogy and lesson that we're given in terms of releasing, being open, let go, and be in the flow. And wow, look at what can happen.
And it's really what can happen, right? When sometimes we hold on, but we don't hold on so tightly, right? Yes. That when we let go of something, and then it allows it to take its course, or we come upon something that we would never have necessarily seen. And it really leaves us sometimes in awe, and it makes us pause, makes us reflect, makes us maybe get to something that maybe we do need to release. Maybe there's something that we've been holding on to our life, whether a relationship or a thought or idea that really no longer serves us. And we can release that and let that go and give ourselves love through it all. It's hard to be human, and give our animals love for all that they're doing and the wonders that they're showing us, and the soul contracts. I don't know, Beth can speak more to that, but we all have soul contracts. It's not a coincidence, the animal that's in your life. It's not a coincidence that that animal is there and there's a reason, which is also just wondrous and in such a loving way to know you have a shared soul contract together.
Mm. One thing I would love for both of you to touch on is the whole concept of unconditional love. I know in our daily lives, love is, for a lot of people, it's transactional. I will love you as long as you do this for me. And animals have that unconditional love. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, it's so interesting, the concept of unconditional love, to truly understand. It took me a long time to truly understand what that's about. And I think I've only touched the surface because as humans, we're confined inside of our mind and our brain and our bodies. And when we're at the higher dimensions, it just flows so freely. That unconditional love is what I've seen and felt. But I have felt unconditional love as a deep connection to the whole, whether it's the whole soul or the whole world or just all that is, all that's happening. And I remember it coming upon me at different moments where I was sitting in a grocery store parking lot and I just felt connected to every single car that drove into the parking lot, that we're all going here at the same time. And it's hard to describe, but it's just it's a feeling. Sometimes it's hard to describe feelings. We try and put words to them. And it's the same way with our pets. We have such love for our pets, and they're so open because they don't have as much of the mind to get in the way, and they can help us to feel that unconditional love while mirroring back something that can help us in other ways. One time I was talking so kindly and so sweetly to my dog, and I heard her say, "Why don't you talk to yourself like that?"
Oh my, what a revelation.
Yeah. And it's this the unconditional love really for ourselves as well. And so for me, I would just say, and then turn it over to Barrett, that it's no judgment. I know there's no judgment. I had my out-of-body experience and I was communicated that there is no judgment. And unconditional love is about connection, and it can look and like many different things. We could have some tough love, and that's unconditionally loving. It's feeling at the highest level without our minds interfering with doubt or judgment. If I could put words to it, which is difficult.
Yes.
That's so true. I just want to read one line from the octopus in our book that speaks to just what you were sharing back. And it speaks to really opening the heart. And the octopus, once the heart opens, we feel compassion for ourselves and another. This mirroring or witnessing creates deep connection and love. Love is the bridge to the ultimate connection to all.
How beautiful. Look at that message. So profound. And even the message that you received from your pet, that talk to yourself the way you're talking to me. That's so beautiful. We've talked about releasing and letting go, and many are out there grieving the loss of a pet. And I know before my Spencer passed away, I got this dream. And I saw him just running like a young pup. And I was like, oh my God, and his ears were, and I said, my God, he's must be sharing with me that he's getting ready to pass away. And then I was kind of getting myself prepared because I woke up, I'm like, gosh, it's not going to be long. So here we have people out there grieving the loss of a pet. Maybe before we go on break, you can kind of share some highlights from your perspective, and then we can continue after we return from break.
Sure. Well, what my experience has been with the animal readings that I've done, and I've done many readings for people whose animals are ill or going to be crossing over, going to be leaving, or somewhat close to that, and it's so very difficult to not be able to understand, what our animal is going through. But just a few things that I want to share to help anyone who is grieving from their animal, the loss of it or the upcoming loss, is that I can see them on the other side. I can see them across the Rainbow Bridge, and I can get information about what they're doing and how they are. And their soul lives on, and they're not gone, even though it feels so hard when they're physically not here with us. And they're okay. They're whole, no matter what happens in this life. And they can bring messages from there as well, from the other side of what's happening. And that it's very common to go into doubt if we have to euthanize, or when's the right time. And what I can say is that it's people always do know what the right moment is, and those questions bring grief, but they're a part of grief. So they also, the last thing I want to share quickly is they leave their body so often before they pass, so they're not dealing with the pain. They go in and out of their body for a little bit before they completely leave their body. So you might notice that they come, they seem like themselves, and then they're not, and then they do. So they know exactly how to do it. We just help them along.
That's comforting. Well, I think we're ready for another commercial break. Boy, time flies. So for our listeners, and we're going to hear more about perhaps dealing with the loss of a pet after we come back from our commercial break. So stay tuned for more on Conversations with Animals, Extraordinary Wisdom about life, love, and healing with our extraordinary guests, Beth Mund and Barrett Stover, your soul guides who combine their intuitive gifts and open a portal of wisdom from spirit around healing mind, body, and spirit. Beth, an intuitive healer, animal master channeler, animal communicator. Barrett, spiritual messenger, connected with loved ones and angels from the spiritual realm. They are here on our show today, Conversations with Animals, Extraordinary Wisdom about life, love, and healing. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Vicki Winterton and Dr. Jean Marie Farish have compiled a dynamic book, We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another, an anthology with 24 highly diverse co-authors who share how to spread the message of love, resilience, inclusivity, and compassion. This book is an invaluable source of uplifting, inspiring, and positive insights for spreading positivity in the world. We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another is available on Amazon.com. Be sure to get your copy today.
I'm Judy Satori. I'm a spiritual channel and activator of human potential. You might have heard me speaking on the Voice of America on Dr. Jean Farish's show, Love Light, because I've been speaking about the challenges that are besetting all of us right now and how we can surrender but also keep on going. I want to invite you to join my new Facebook group that is devoted to heart-centered connection and unity. Through this Facebook group, you can also join my free access question and answer session with Spirit on the first Wednesday to Thursday of every month. Just search Ascension Community on Facebook to join the group. In this session, I answer questions and transmit energy from Spirit to give you guidance and support. Because life on planet Earth ain't easy right now. And there is so much help from above, from beings of love and light, from multidimensional realities who are actually here with us, wanting to step up and support us. I welcome you to become part of our ongoing group conversation about evolutionary change and how it's affecting us as human beings and affecting our life today. Many blessings to you. You can find out more about me and my work at www.ascensionlibrary.org. Have a wonderful day.
Dr. Jean Marie Farish is proud to announce the release of her new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being, available now at Balboa Press. This book will help you master your life and flourish in love. You'll learn how to become a better and more evolved you. Feel good by making life-affirming choices. Deepen your feelings and expressions of love. Tune in love and sustain the change. And flourish in love and find your joy. Visit BalboaPress.com and search for Living in the Spirit of Love and enjoy Dr. Farish's new book today. Announcing Dr. Jean Marie Farish's new book, Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations. This is the companion piece to Dr. Farish's best-selling book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being. Through the new book, we invite you to cultivate a lifestyle of love through daily devotional practices over a 21-day period, following 9 ingredients in the recipe of love. Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations is available on Amazon.com and Balboa Press. Best-selling Authors International news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published Magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to PublishedMagazine.com.
Jean Marie Farish's Center for Conscious Loving, LLC, cultivates a lifestyle of love and wholehearted connections through personal growth, altruistic services, and speaking engagements. Resources include classes, workshops, life care coaching, and creative service projects with an emphasis on cultural arts. Visit the website at drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com. That's Jean Marie Farish-consciousloving.com. Or click the link on the Love Light show page.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Well, welcome back to Love Light, Living in the Spirit of Love. And if you're just joining us, we are with our extraordinary guests, Beth Munn and Barrett Stover, your soul guides, who combine their intuitive gifts and open a portal of wisdom on our show today. Conversations with Animals, extraordinary wisdom around life, love, and healing. And thank you so much for sharing the role of animals and, even dealing with aspects of grief from losing our pets. Is there anything else you'd like to share about grief and for those who are dealing with the loss of a pet?
I think, grief is real and we feel our grief and we each have to really honor our grief in our own way. But I think as Beth so beautifully spoke to, just like with loved ones, our animals are still with us. Yet they have changed form. We miss them being in the physical, but they're still so present. And so oftentimes, people that Beth and I speak with, they'll feel something, or there's some kind of message or something. There's something that seems like a coincidence. There's some little nudge that reminds them. And then they feel like, no, I think that my cat or my dog was here. Well, your cat or dog was there. So to sort of honor what you're receiving, what you're observing, just to sort of sit with it, because they are still present. They're still loving you just from right next to you, but in an unseen way, but you can feel their presence, and just to love yourself through that. We grieve because we love deeply. If we didn't love, we wouldn't feel it so painfully. But to know that they are still present, but to know them in a different way and to still observe what they're leaving, because they are comforting, they are supporting from the other side, and they still feel our hearts. Once we're connected through love, love transcends realms, and we are still connected. So to know you are being loved, they are present. It is so hard not to have them physically, and to honor yourself, but to know and sort of open up to them communicating with you again from the other side.
That's comforting. So how do we open ourselves up to be open to the messages and to tune in to what we're receiving and pay attention? A lot to pack there, but just share with us, how do we keep our hearts open and in tune?
Well, the first thing is to slow down. Some of the animals I communicated with in the book, we're talking about slowing down. We're all rushing around everywhere. And if we're rushing around, we're not really paying attention to much of anything except maybe the noise and voices in our head. So to slow down, to breathe, even beginning a meditation practice, it doesn't have to be long. You can set the timer for 10 minutes to start to be aware, and meditation is incredibly helpful. I'm going to be doing a meditation class because there's just a lot of misconceptions about that. But how do we communicate, and how do we do this when we haven't done this before? Slow down, start opening your awareness, looking around, paying attention. If you want to do it with your own pet, sit with them and just try to be open to what comes in without an expectation. It could be an image that comes to you. It could be a feeling. You could hear something, or it could just be a knowing. Those are the 4 ways that I open up, and the main 4 ways of communicating with the unseen. So it's not going to happen unless we try it. And so there's going to be doubt. And I tell everybody this, that I talk to and help with communicating. There's always going to be doubt, but to do it anyway. And to just set the intention. And then if we incorporate those other tools that I just spoke about, it will start to happen in its own way. But we need to have patience and allow us to take a step back, not get too frustrated if it doesn't happen immediately. It will happen.
That's very encouraging. Barrett, do you have?
I was just going to add to that. Beth and I run workshops, and I remember in one of them we were using the oar. So, you think of an oar paddling your way through life on the river of life. But so OAR. So just kind of remember that. So O is for observation. A is for ask, and R is for receive. Every ask is received. Every ask is responded to. So like Beth's saying, just show up. Even if you think you're doubting it, just do it anyway. You kind of fake it till you make it sometimes in your mindset, but you ask for something. You ask to see something. Like I know when I was connecting with the spirits and so forth, I'm like, if you're really there, then I'm going to see a woodpecker. Not that we see woodpeckers all the time. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing woodpeckers, whether I'm in the north or the south. So, but so I'm asking, I'm receiving it, and I'm observing it. And it's affirming for me, knowing, oh my gosh, yes, it's true. And you just kind of go paddling your way through life, asking, receiving, you're observing, you're continually doing that. I just want to add one thing to what Beth is saying, which she's channeled and connected in this book. There's 33 animals, from, yes, we have, the cats and dogs, but there's whales, there's a mosquito, there's an antelope, there's dolphins, there's an elephant. I mean, just so many, but there's one that is, they're all so delightful, and they have such distinct personalities. But one is Belinda Carl, and Belinda Carl is a road runner. And I just want to read one passage because it speaks beautifully to what Beth is saying. So one of the passages is she's the road runner saying, remember that heaven is a place on earth. It is found within each of you in your heart. And then she goes on to saying, all that you feel at first will be the layers that are lifting off of you The unworthiness, the darkness, the lack of love, the judgment, the doubt, the impatience. This all interferes. When you feel heaven on earth and unconditional love, you have dropped into your heart. Somehow you have bypassed these obstacles, allowing them to leave your body and energy field. I speak to the importance of you hearing this because this may be the place where many give up. They feel uncomfortable and they run back and cover up. But being uncomfortable is where the change happens. It's supposed to feel this way. Just long, beautiful conversations, passages of how to feel that heaven on earth, because heaven is here. We are bringing forth heaven on earth in each of us, and it's through our hearts. But just a beautiful passage from a Roadrunner.
That's a very powerful lesson. I was going to ask you, you're right on point. I was going to ask you about spiritual lessons learned from, our animals and the spiders, insects, or whatever. So what an amazing lesson about love and that heaven is here on earth. And in your book what do you have in your book? Just all of these different encounters. Tell us a little bit more about this, your upcoming book.
Well, I sat at different places over the course of at least a year. And when felt guided or when an animal showed up, I communicated with the animal. And what is so much fun and interesting about this book is that I included my questions. So I asked questions that came to me that a lot of people would want to know, and that I wanted to know. Our last book was just written, which is beautiful in itself. It's in a different format. Just the letters, the information, but this one I'm interacting with all the animals. And so, they're funny, they're serious, they're wise, they're loving, they're all different. And, I was surprised a lot of times at what the message was. I knew I couldn't control it, so I just let it flow. And what I did is I'm a transcriber, I'm an interpreter. So they were, their higher self and my higher self was receiving, and they were communicating all of this. And then I just wrote down what it is that they wanted to share. And they got very up close and personal with me. They would come very close. And not every animal I encountered was to be included, but I knew when they were, and it was the exact perfect order, and it was just, the interaction was amazing.
Okay, so before we close, how can our listeners connect with you?
We invite them to go onto our website. It's www.yoursoulguides.com. We are coming out with our new book, so there's information on both books. But we also have workshops and classes, and people can really explore, all over the website, and also see what resonates with them and how to develop their own gifts, because everyone out there, each of you out there has your gifts. Each of you has your soul purpose. Each of you is extraordinary. And just to really delve into it and celebrate you. Okay. Celebrate all that you're doing, because you're doing so much more, and celebrate our animals because they are spiritual beings just like us, connected with love and working with us, showing us that.
Thank you both so much for being here today. We have to have you back for your extraordinary insights, wisdom, and messages from angels, and how to help us connect to become more loving, and with all of these valuable insights to help us live life to the fullest with grace and ease. So to our listeners, we invite you to connect with Beth and Barrett to learn more, and we invite you to listen to this show on demand and share our show with others. Much gratitude to the Voice America team for making this show a reality and for shining their love light around the world. It is amazing that we're never alone. So stop, look, listen, pay attention, be open to receiving, We deserve a life of joy, peace, and happiness. I'm Dr. Jean Marie, your Love Light host, coming to you from Voice America. And until we meet again, remember, an empowered self is a loving self. And keep your love light shining. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Thank you for listening to Love Light this week. Be sure to join Dr. Jean Marie Farish again for another program next Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and noon Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a wonderful week filled with love, self-worth, and better connections.